Excuse me. Hi Greg. I thought it might be helpful if I did a little quick Camtasia on a couple of these documents. So the Word document, actually not too bad. If I open up the styles window here, the thing that worries me the most is, is the multiple versions of headings. And there should really just be one heading 2, one heading 1, one heading 3, one heading 4, etc. And they should look the same. And that's but when I click on this and I select all 12 instances, many of them are just single spaces. It's kind of weird. Let me show you. See, it's selecting, that's one of the instances. Um, okay, I'm at the end of the document. See, there's a single letter. Um, so somebody needs to go through this document and actually change these to, condense these headings. And basically all you need to do is select all of them and then mark them up as a heading 1. So I would just click on heading 1 and it made that other heading 1 style disappear because we weren't using it anymore. So I can do it same thing here, select all 2 instances of this red heading. I can scroll through the document to see where it was used, just so I don't change something too dramatic. Um, there's, see, it's just a single space, which is weird. It's not ordinary. But and it's not red, so I don't really understand. But so I want to select heading 1 and make that a heading 1. So that's what needs to happen, condensing all of these headings. But um, but more importantly is to go through and make sure that headings are applied. So if I go to the beginning of the document, really for an online document, this should be marked up as the heading 1, and it should be the only heading 1 in the document. I can center it if I'd like, uh, but I have to make it I can change the color of it if I'd like. Um, but it's still marked up as heading 1, even though, well, no, it's not. It actually, that explains why they have these different styles, is they chose a heading and then they changed the color of it or the text or font or whatever, but it's still marked up as a heading 1, and I shouldn't even have these other heading styles. What I can do is I can click on this heading 1 style. Um, ah, so I want to start with it being a heading 1. Now I want to center it and maybe change the color of it, right? So it's blue. And now what I want to do is, um, while it's highlighted and while this heading 1 style is highlighted, I want to right click and then I want to update heading 1 to match selection. So that way I'm updating the heading 1 style instead of creating new heading 1 styles. Does that make sense? So so now I would go on to heading 2. So now it's marked this because this was marked up as a heading 1. It's changed the look of this heading 1, but this actually should be a heading 2. So I would click that, and then if I wanted to change the look again, I could center it I could do whatever I wanted to it, but then right click on the heading 2 and say update heading 2 to match selection. That way, again, let's, no, I don't want to, what I want to do is I want to see there's one instance of a heading 2 down here that's blue and italics. Um, I don't want that. I want that to be a heading 2 like my other heading 2, so I selected it and then I just chose this new style. I mean the only heading 2 style. So some cleanup needs to be done. We need to make sure that all the same section headers are being used throughout the document. So like are all of the lesson headings a heading 2? Are all the subsections of those lessons heading? That should be a heading 3 now because this was a heading 2. Um, and again, I can center it if I'd like, and then I can even update the heading 3s. This would also be a heading 3, and there doesn't look like there was any return. So look, oh, I highlighted this, that's why. Okay, so I need to just highlight that and choose heading 3. And so that's how the whole document needs to be gone through like this. Discussion, is that a heading 2? Is that the same level as this introduction overview? Yeah, that seems about right. So, okay, so that's correct. That's a heading 2. This should be a heading 3. Okay, that's correct. And then just keep going through the document. But I tested it with a screen reader. It seems to read well. So this might be a heading. They've got this marked up as heading 3A. Well, there's no such thing, and it will be interpreted as a heading 3, which it seems like since it's 3A that really you mean it to be a subheading of heading 3, which would be a heading 4. And I'm looking for a heading 4 style. And I fear it has been removed, in which case what we need to do is go in and modify this heading, make it a heading 4, and style will, well, good, okay. But we're not, it already exists or is reserved for a built-in style. Well, we're not seeing it though. Oh, so maybe we can't call it that. Well, what I think might need to happen is because the heading 4 style has been eliminated somehow, I'll have to work on figuring out how to reinstate that, but you can't, there's no heading 4. Alright, well, this 3A needs to be a heading 4, and I can help figure that out. It might be that we're going to need to fix everything we can and then copy the entire contents into a new Word document that hasn't had its styles messed with so much, and so we get a fresh template and it would have heading 4 and heading 5 and heading 6 in here, but it's not. So I'm not sure what happened. Happens sometimes just things happen in Word and but there's no heading 4 and we need a heading 4, and it looks like this would be a heading 4, and so would these other tests of knowledge would be headings. Um, and then just have to keep checking. That's a heading 3, so that's good. I mean, there are a lot of really good uses of headings. So we just need to make sure that this gets changed to a heading 4 and that these multiple heading 3s get merged into one heading 3. But otherwise, I think there were some lists in here that needed to be formatted as lists. Um, this is not, this should be a numerical list and it's not marked up as such. So what you need to do is highlight it and then choose the numbered list. So that would actually read then as a list. So it looks like I should have selected all of it. Numbered list. And then well, see, this is why actually the creator of the document needs to do this, because it, I think true or false goes with the previous question. And then these need to be subsets of. So just clean up like that. Mostly headings and lists, and making sure, so this is, I think, reading as a heading. Oh no, this is reading as emphasis 24. We need this to be a heading 2, I believe is what we've been calling the lessons. So I'd have to go back up, check the lesson, and that is a heading 2. So looks like we have a new type of heading, and we need to make sure that these are not being used as headings. We need to make that a heading 2, and this should also be a heading 2. And I bet there are more of these, 14 instances of them. They probably all need to be heading 2s. So yeah, good use. I mean, started off okay and then sort of lost its stamina in headings and started using these emphasis. So that's too bad. So those need to be then, this is really a heading 3, I think, and this, again is a heading 2 and needs to be marked up as such, not as emphasis 24. Alright, so I hope that's helpful and gives you an idea. Sorry I went on so long. Thanks, bye.